How's everything going over there?
We're live. Well,
Live.
as live as you can be.
Okay.
My hair fell off.
You're really thinking about that one. That's cool though. Yeah, that's a good place to start. Your hair falled off. What is that
Hair falled
about?
off.
Oh, I have your.
Yeah.
Got your picture.
Sorry, before we started the podcast, we were talking to Ian about, I think I'm turning Japanese being about masturbation, the song.
Yeah,
And
and I was
Ian didn't know that.
confused. I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, squinting. We came to the conclusion that it's about squinting at the centerfold or at a picture, I guess, of a naked
Jacking
lady
off
or something.
so hard, yeah, you're like squinting.
And you're like, yeah. So it's bad eyesight, and
no, it's not bad eyesight.
I don't know why you'd be squinting that much if you're beating off.
Because you're coming. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
That's
Not
what it
everyone
is.
has that as a freaking.
Well, the writer of the song does.
All right.
Right, the song definitely
Kind of
does
told
that.
on himself a little bit.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. But anyways, Ian didn't. I was like, man, I can't believe. I think it was Kirsten Dunst. I'm not sure, but there was a female artist that's more known for acting than singing who did a cover of that in the past like 15 years, which I thought was kind of shocking.
Yeah. Scandalous.
Yeah, but you know. Anyways, I cut my hair off.
Yeah. What was the reasoning for that?
I bleached it really aggressively, and it was fine. Like, my hair was healthy-ish, as healthy as it can be, but I can't air dry it. It, like, goes all
Yeah.
cockamamie.
Yeah.
So,
I have to say the super damaged hair, or the hair having been bleached, like, I don't know, it's super negative ASMR to me. I'm
Yeah.
like, it doesn't feel like human hair. It feels like you have some scraggly Angelica. What is Angelica's doll name?
oh,
I don't know.
Cynthia.
Cynthia. It's like some Cynthia hair.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't stick up in that same way. You might even prefer it if it did
Yeah.
stick up in that way, but it just seems like just kind of ruined.
Yeah.
Like, I like the hair. The hair is almost like an alive thing in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like in the same way that your fingernails are.
I think that healthy hair is, I mean, I'm getting old, so at least on me, I find that healthy hair is better than, like, nicely colored hair. For
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
There's
I don't know. I
some
like
women, I think if you have thicker hair, like
you can play with it more.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have very fine hair. Like, I have a
Maybe.
lot of it, but it's very fine. So once I bleach it, it's kind of like, it just looks like little wispy jimmies.
Right.
So I cut most of it off.
I guess a lot of people have gotten in the habit, though, of like kind of forcing their hair to do what they want it to do with a fucking, hammer and nails, basically the hairspray or gel or whatever they're doing to like conquer it. So I guess if you're going that far, the idea that it's like damaged is kind of irrelevant because you're already just making it do the thing.
If you're okay, there's a lot of people who are totally okay with, like, putting in a lot of effort in their hair. I can barely brush my teeth, so, like, the idea of, like, styling
Putting more
my
work
hair,
into it, yeah.
I just don't have the resolve.
Well, that's where you and me are on the same
both-
page.
We both don't have the resolve.
Yeah,
But
welcome to manlyhood.
Yours, though, at the length that it is at,
Uh-huh.
and because you want to, like, lean into the curl, you have to do some.
Yeah.
You have to do some.
I think, well, I was going to say, I think part of my problem is I made my normal state for a long time like a very close buzz cut.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about the very close buzz cut is there is nothing that you can do. And literally every thing that would fuck up your hair normally, like me wearing this hat. If I take this hat off, my hair definitely is better with the hat on. It is not a good look at this moment. But obviously, if I was, buzz cut, I could do whatever I want. So much freedom to not worry about it.
And you can rub your head. When I shaved my head or cut it recently, anytime I'm bent over, like, some husbands, when you're bent over, they'll like grab your ass or be cute. When I bend over, he comes over and scratches the top of my head and says, "My balls itch."
Yes. That's for all the haters out there. You're welcome. You're welcome.
My balls itch.
My balls itch. Yeah, that was a thing in our middle school. That's what kids would do is they'd fucking scratch another kid's head and say my balls itch. Yeah, I haven't heard of any other school or person's experience being like that. There's a lot of crossover, like the fucking noogies, a wedgie.
We just had the credit
this or
card
that.
swipe.
Right.
So, like, a girl would come up to another girl and fucking take their hands like a, put them in a prayer
Right.
motion and go, credit card swipe, and would swipe the ass crack.
That almost feels like it's way too like wordy for it to be like a cute kids thing. It feels like what you'd come up with is like a desperate parody for it. Credit card swipe.
I thought you were going to say it's like a desperate, horny, like, man. Credit card swipe.
Yeah.
It's a prank.
It's a prank.
It's just
right.
a prank.
True.
The bullies at my school would do the kiss tax. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The kiss tax?
Yeah, whenever you would pass them in the hall, they'd say kiss tax, and you have to kiss them on the mouth.
Shut up.
Did you?
I like that though.
You went to post-secondary, yeah?
What is that? What Canadian thing is that?
Post-secondary.
What Canadian
Twice
bullshit is
removed.
this?
University? College?
Oh,
Go to college? Or like
no. I went to like a community. I took like some
Okay.
community college courses,
So-
but I didn't really go there really.
post-secondary just means like education past high school.
Sure.
So like I'm pretty sure. Anyways, you did have an experience where you were on a campus after high school.
Yeah.
And you obviously did.
Yeah.
Did you guys have the experience? I couldn't believe this was real. You know, like in the movies, the jocks or like the guys will like be in the courtyard and they'll hold up like numbers for when women walk by, like rating women.
In the movies.
Yeah, they do that in the movies sometimes.
Oh, and that sounds very like
like a
over the
Naked
top
Gun movie.
parody.
I'm trying to think of like what movie. I think maybe House Bunny did it.
Oh,
Maybe
interesting.
Movies
but
like
but
that.
are they trying to like indicate that this is like a common
a common college thing.
thing? Okay,
And it did happen at my college.
really?
Yes, and it was traumatizing. I
They're
remember.
holding up actual like signs with numbers.
Well, they like
It
sharpied the numbers
feels
on
so
them.
extra.
I know. I was gonna ask if you guys had that experience.
No.
Because in
that's a
high
good joke.
school, it was like, stick your knee out. I need somewhere to rest my balls, or like credit card swipe, or like my balls itch. And then when you go into post secondary, then it's like they're fucking rating women. Like I was wondering if you because we had the same experience.
Right.
But you didn't have any of that rating stuff in the courtyard?
No, it was so I don't know. High school or college, post secondary was not really. I don't know, not memorable in any sort of like. Everyone was very business on my college campus.
Did you go to any parties?
Fuck no.
Were you ever invited?
Fuck no.
Really?
Yeah.
How about you, Dane?
To some like parties.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, not anything like that was advancing my social score.
Post-secondary parties were, I would say, the most terrifying experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're adults. Or
Yeah.
They
Half adults, half not.
right. Well, it's kind of like you've gotten the stamp of like, hey, you're an adult now.
I'm talking about probably the only thing I can think of that's related to what you're asking is like when I was like 19, 20.
Yeah. I started when I was 18, but in Alberta.
Those
drink
aren't
at 18.
those aren't like those are just college parties where there's more likely going to be alcohol there.
Yeah. I forget that because in my country, you drink at 18. So there's like kids in grade 12 that are drinking.
We drink at 18 here too, but it's
illegally.
illegal.
So
And then we stopped drinking at 21 because it's not illegal. It's not fun no more.
Yeah, that's when I stopped drinking. Actually, was
That's
around.
why you gotta fucking lower the drinking age, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Let them get through it quicker. Let them learn the lessons faster.
So you didn't do any? Did you join clubs or anything? And
No.
you just kind of got in and got out.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking do any of this socializing, interacting with people.
Were you still playing World of Warcraft at that time? No.
No.
Overgrowth.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your socialization around that time then?
Yeah.
Making YouTube videos. I don't know.
Wait, when you were I'm talking about when you were like 17, 18, 19.
Oh, 17, 18?
Yeah,
Like
17, 18.
the end of high school?
Yeah.
I was definitely, that was probably the height of me being like social with friends, I would say.
A lot of Jordan and Clay.
Yeah, hang out with Jordan Clay a lot. We would do, okay. This makes sense actually. A lot of climbing, a lot of bouldering. So I would go to the climbing gym. And, I'd make friends there. I'd, socialize at the climbing gym. So that was like my, stop.
You also
That was like my coffee shop.
kind of
place.
partied at Legoland, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I still meant to. Like him and his coworkers like got
Yeah.
crunk.
Got crunk. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the
I
way.
mean, the Legoland crew.
Yeah.
Kind of got crunk.
They were playing beer pong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
I was kind of like the little shrimpy guy that they took along. They were
Really?
like, oh yeah, because they were like degenerate, like seasoned drinkers at the age of fucking 18. And obviously they're working at Legoland. They were just spending their paychecks every fucking week on beer and playing beer pong. That was their fucking life. So when I came around and I'm like, I don't know what this shit is. I think it was a lot of fun for them to be like, yeah, all right, have a drink. I got so fucking crunk.
Was it?
Got alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, he literally got alcohol poisoning from. That was the first time he ever drank, right?
Yeah.
I
Did they
wonder-
throw, instead of ping pong balls, they throw Legos in, right?
True.
Lego balls.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I just hit the mic.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the one. There was an experience where I discovered that like it's the chicks that blow into the cups and the dudes finger the cups.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, this is so fucking cool. I'm like seeing these people blow into the cups, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. That's a cool physics trick.
Yeah.
I'll do the cool physics trick because that's how you play this game. They're like, gay.
Whatever. I was fingering the cup, so we were meant to be.
Nice.
I'm the girl
We're
who
meant to be.
fingers, and you're the boy who blows.
The boy who blows. Nice.
He was a boy. She was a girl.
He knew how to blow.
Into the cup.
Man. But I don't know. I mean, I wasn't very skilled at the beer pong.
Yeah.
The beer pong.
I think you were probably a lot more liked than you realize at that time. Like you're talking about how you were like the skinny little lad, but the stories that you've told me, what I've pieced together, I think the girls just really liked you. They were fucking twisting your nipples and shit. They liked you.
Yeah.
They wanted to freaking give you a kiss.
Well, that might be cool, but I don't like. Hey, just because you like me doesn't mean I like you, right?
Ian always tells me this story about how this girl at Legoland fucking gave him a titty twister and how mad it made him. I was like, man, she
I
was trying
wanted
to
to
make a
punch her.
move.
Hey, that's sexual
Wall.
harassment, and you should have reported that.
I actually should have.
You
'cause
should have, yeah, you
She would have
could've.
learned a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
That's true.
And she would have rotted in jail and kind of learned a lesson that way.
Put it in jail.
Rotted out in a jail cell for that.
I don't know what it is. Like, I think when you're unsure of like how to flirt, you just become violent.
What the fuck?
No, I didn't like her. I don't want to, I would have been like, interesting. I would have been thinking about it more if it was someone that I enjoyed.
That you were interested in.
Yes, then I'd be like, oh,
'Cause
okay.
even-
There's some teasing, some flirting.
When I feel
But it was
extreme,
like, oh, man, I do not like you. And you just twisted my nipple.
yeah.
You're going to,
And at Hoyt.
in that Hoyt.
Well, like I feel when I feel extreme love for you, like it's oozing out of me.
Yeah.
I want to like freaking slap your ass real hard or freaking squeeze your sides. Like it's like that's how I want to express my.
Yeah, this is
Love.
exactly why Anisa and I have had this conversation numerous times, but we basically came to the conclusion like we would have not liked each other
No.
at like an earlier point in our lives. Like in high school or middle school,
Yeah.
we would have fucking despised one
Yeah.
another.
I mean, I had serious
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah, because to be honest, there was plenty of that Helga-esque flirting
Oh my
when I
God.
was when I was a kid.
I totally would have been your Helga and you
know.
would have been Arnold.
Fuck that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I used to root so hard for them.
Helga. Oh.
I wanted Helga to like have a happy ending so bad, and I just realized why.
Yeah. It's so that fucking Hey Arnold is the goat.
Yeah, it is.
Hey Arnold's awesome.
Yeah. That's like such a good. I don't know. It's like they're telling some super interesting stories.
Totally, yeah.
Well, it was like weirdly grounded for a cartoon to tell like a relatively realistic story about like middle school, basically.
Yeah.
I also will say, I think another podcast we said that Rugrats was the first like Jewish forward cartoon, but I actually think it's
I thought you were
Hey
gonna say
Arnold.
a real. You're like that was the first cartoon that was like a real portrayal of how babies are.
No, but I think actually Hey Arnold it was introducing like Jewish characters at the
Right.
forefront.
Right. Yeah.
First.
Yeah. Wait,
'Cause
who is the Jewish characters in that?
Arnold's Jewish. His
he?
grandfather's
Oh, I
Jewish.
remember his yarmulke on his big
Yeah.
old football head.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wait. He also had a normal baseball cap, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But he
No,
switched
his
it out.
normal baseball cap was the yarmulke, basically.
Well, yeah, it was yarmulke sized.
Same shape.
Okay. But
But
he was
yeah.
Jewish?
Yeah. Well, his grandfather
Right.
was.
I feel like the orange-headed kid was Jewish.
I think there was one other Jewish
Okay.
kid.
He lived in
New
New York.
York.
Yeah,
Right.
he was
So-
in New York.
But a lot, I read somewhere that it was like not technically New York. I don't think they
Oh.
said that. I think it was like a mixture, like New York and Seattle kind of fictional place.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like kind of like how
Gotham.
where does Gotham is just Chicago, but they never really say it.
What?
Oh,
I thought
that's
it was
interesting.
New York.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I
need
could
to
be
visit
wrong.
Chicago.
I've always heard that it's like supposed to be Chicago, or maybe they just filmed there or something.
I trust you. I think you would know better.
Man,
than me.
I actually think Chicago should be on my list of places to go over, because I've been thinking like I have not explored the East Coast at all.
Yeah.
But Chicago, I've heard plenty about Chicago and like
It's
the
bumping.
Midwest. kind of area.
is Midwest actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Chicago is.
That's the point I was making, Dane. Is that it's not the East Coast, and I should
crap?
instead go there.
I heard Chicago's
This
like
is being a stinker.
really coming up. Like a lot of people are really. There's a fashion girly that I really like. I watch her YouTube, and she lives in Chicago.
That's cool.
Yeah, and we were just talking before. The movie's pretty good too.
True, the movie Chicago, which Ian hasn't seen, so we're gonna watch it.
We're gonna tie him to a chair and make him watch it, and
Yeah.
he'll become 10% more gay from watching it.
Yes, yeah,
Cool.
but that's good because it will give you like more performative flair if you watch Chicago.
I don't think that'll happen, but hey,
You become a burlesque
never know.
king.
Okay, so yeah, the last podcast that we recorded, we went over a lot of topics. I deleted some of them in my notes. But yeah, we lost the frickin' footage.
Again.
It's not even.
We
it's not
lost the
even
audio
like,
more like.
Yeah, the audio, true. But one of the things that I mentioned in that was that we were going to try to. I'm really going to make an effort this time to make an audio-only version of the extended cut of the podcast. So if you're listening on YouTube, just know that that is an added benefit to subscribing to our Patreon. You get an extra 30 to 40 minutes, and you can listen to it without looking at us.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. And we talk more loose lip.
Yeah, we're a little bit more candid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
On
like
the,
so candid on this.
yeah.
It's like people are
I
probably
mean,
like, what the hell?
sometimes we just luck out, I think. Where
Yeah.
It's like, it just happens to be a little bit more of a personal topic once
Yeah.
we get into the extended.
Like fetishes.
Yeah, we had a whole thing about fetishes.
And then it got
Yeah, got ran over.
We'll
But
talk- we can talk about it again.
we'll talk about it another time when it's more natural to me. But essentially,
Wow, he thinks fetishes are not natural.
they're not.
whoa.
They're sick and twisted.
That's freaking
And they're mainly for liberals.
Yeah, no, that is true.
mainly for liberals.
Let me put it this way. Kinks, conservatives. Fetishes, liberal.
That sounds weirdly right. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think I read that, I think, did it ultimately come down to like fetishes or something that you need
Yes,
to
to get
ejac,
off.
to get
Yeah.
off?
And kink is like optional.
Yeah.
Helps.
Yeah, a nice flavor.
Could be nice.
Right. True.
Yeah, it could be. Hey, yeah, might as well.
Might as well. Sure.
Throw that in the mix.
Yeah. So
Hey,
we
babe, do you mind if I bring this clown into the room? Sure.
It's my kink.
it's my kink.
However, my fetish, I require that.
Yeah, like Dane requires a vagina. That's what we learned. that's Dane's
What the
fetish.
fuck?
Yeah. I require a vagina. He's on the phone with the people who kidnapped his daughter.
But you said that you like Master Chief. That was your fetish.
He's
so
hot.
so he has to. He says, Cortana,
Yeah,
I require a vagina.
Oh, God.
Dane telling on me.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
No, that is good.
No, that it was a mask. It's a mask thing, and I was specifically. I think it's important we go over this
No, you're right. We can go into it.
because we talked about it on last podcast and it got a raise. I don't know. It was a chicken or egg thing. I really liked Wesley from Princess Bride and Zorro. I don't know what it was about like masked twink men in the 90s.
I don't know if they're
or the early.
twinks.
You don't think
they're
Wesley's a
twinkish.
twink?
Wesley is.
Okay, I don't know who that is, so...
Oh,
You've
right.
got the.
To yourself.
Show him the Blu-ray. It's on the desk
Where? Which one? Where?
somewhere, isn't it? It's leaning up against Howard Stern over there, I think.
Oh.
Hey, look at Wesley. That's a twink.
Oh, I mean, he's blonde. Oh, whoa! This is legit Zorro on the back.
Whoa, really? No. That's Wesley in a mask.
Yeah.
That's Wesley.
does-
I like how you say, like, you believed me when I said, this is legit Zorro on the back.
I thought maybe it was like an advertisement for Zorro because they came out not around the same.
Yeah.
Did they come out around the same?
Zorro is like,
Maybe in
I think it predates it. Or no, actually, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No.
I
But
can't remember.
anyways, Zorro and Wesley both wore masks, and I both had the hots for them when I was younger. And then when I got a little bit older, Master Chief was also very hot.
Man, that one...
I love that evolution. It's so funny to
It
me.
makes no sense. I mean, it makes the smallest bit of sense, but... Yeah, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that it is like... that's going to be more of like a queer-centric idea of like thinking that is like cool or like hot
What,
or
masks?
interesting. Yeah, as the masks. Because I like...
I don't know. I think there's
Coming
some-
from the straight male camp, I'm kind of like, fuck, like, I don't think in any world
Do you get the monster
that-
fetish?
monster fetish was that.
What?
What, like a big
like-
monster fucking you or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Sully from Monsters, Inc. ravaging.
like Jessica Negri tweets a lot about Venom.
Oh, how
his
hot
tongue.
Venom is.
Oh,
That makes more sense to me because he kind of like, I don't know, it kind of ties in, I think, in my head to the like the fetishes of like being restricted or being like overcome. What was that word?
Overcome.
No, not overcome, but being overpowered.
Oh, I mean that's probably part of it, but like
Sorry.
it's kind of an evolution. Like women who usually have monster fetishes also think that the scarred up fish from Finding Nemo is hot.
Oh.
Like it's kind of like the
Right.
same. It's
that's
like,
just William Dafoe's voice, though.
that's true. It's part of it, but I don't know. It's like a slippery slope, and there's a lot of women. You know the guy from Silent Hill, the pyramid head guy.
Yeah.
A lot of women obviously like that.
Obviously, what the hell?
But it gets really like some women, it gets really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
But I would say like that is probably more queer
Uh-huh.
than like a mask. Like I think mask is like very vanilla.
Okay.
Like I think a lot of like probably like straight like
Right.
women are probably mask fiends. It's a
Uh,
little bit of danger.
yeah. Danger. I like that motion.
So during the pandemic, were you like,
No, because that's different. No, that's different. Yeah, I don't know. Covering up the mouth and nose doesn't.
Yeah,
it has to
it's
be
more creepy.
it's more eyeball?
Yeah, it has to be like top of head or all face.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, I was gonna say, you and I watched a TikTok where this guy was really advocating for cloaks,
Yes.
cloak usage in the
Yeah.
modern era.
Yeah, and it had 400,000 likes. So
Yeah.
people are they
People
want,
want cloaks.
it. They want cloaks.
So I don't know. I think, I mean, to be honest, fucking Markiplier and Jacksepticeye's team with Cloak should probably
Get on that.
get on that.
Yeah.
And Markiplier should just lead the charge.
I agree.
Message or email our representatives.
yeah.
in
For real.
Congress. Yeah.
Listen, Mark, if you ever hear this, which you probably won't, but if you do, if you start wearing a cloak,
Everyone
I will follow close behind, and so will Ian.
Close behind. He's like looking at his watch, looking at the calendar. Like,
Yeah.
all right, it's been 2 weeks. She hasn't fucking worn a cloak.
Start wearing a cloak. I'm telling you, I will, and Ian will, and then it will be like a domino effect. Because I do agree. I think cloaks need to come back in.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
I'm
I
tired
was
of hoodies.
considering we want to go to the H3 Christmas
Live
special
show.
live show. And we were kind of trying to think what could we do to make it like a little bit more special. And we thought like maybe that's the time to show up in cloaks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that could be the domino effect.
Hey, I
They're-
mean,
yeah, I maybe have to check if they're available on Amazon because I'm only gonna buy it if it's on
I
Amazon.
want an emerald green cloak.
Yeah, oh man, I
That,
want
like-
a pompous blue
Oh, a
cloak.
pompous blue.
Yeah.
And I want it to wrap. Like I want it to be a big hood,
Right.
and I want it to wrap. I don't want the long. I want like the wrapping. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I want mine to be, and I'm picturing it with your cloak as well. Not exclusively emerald or not exclusively pompous blue in my case. I want it to be almost like that AB like mixture of like black in it.
yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
depending on how the light shines against it,
Yeah.
it's either black or blue.
You know what I just realized as we're talking about this? Your first boxing outfit kind of was that.
Oh yeah,
that was
it's
like
a
the
robe is a
beginning.
cloak, to be honest.
But
Yeah.
especially the one that you had.
Yeah.
It was like big and it had snake skin and it had chains on it and shit.
Maybe
So
I'll bring that.
I think you just like led the chart. Maybe you put it out into the universe.
Whoa. True. I did that. That was me.
When
But
when the YouTube video pops up says the rise and fall and rise again of cloaks, they're gonna have an entire chapter in there with Ian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming out to death grips with a big
True.
cloak. But I think, like, I want my cloak to look like I'm hurrying through the cobblestoned alleyways of a rainy night.
Of a rainy night.
I will say, this is to me, this is all coming off as very Harry Potter coded.
Oh.
You guys are coming off as a little bit more like
hell?
I was
Potterheads the
thinking-
more you talk about
I
this.
was thinking, like,
I was
Assassin's Creed.
thinking Lotter.
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 What's that?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
No. Because
Yeah, Lord of the
in
Rings.
at least in the books, in the first couple books, every character wears like a cloak, and I think that there's a lot of characters that specifically wear an emerald green cloak. So when you said emerald green cloak, it was very Harry Potter.
Listen, I'm going more Assassin's Creed
All right, I understand.
in my head, just to clarify.
Interesting. Right. Okay, that's cool. And I even like the idea of like, cloaks from different regions. Like if
Whoa.
we see some Middle Eastern cloaks,
Yes.
they will probably have the vibe of Assassin's Creed a bit
Yeah,
more.
true.
Theoretically.
Regional cloaks would be sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're setting that into motion starting now.
Everybody start wearing cloaks. If enough of us do it, it won't be weird.
Yeah. Don't let us die on that hill.
Oh man, this would be like a genuinely cool merch idea as well.
Ooh,
Some She Ruined My Career cloaks.
that would be sick. I do like that.
But I must say, like a cloak cannot have like any over the top branding. If it's like on the tag or in the
True.
No, it would be
corner.
like a pocket square
Right.
in the sewn into the seams.
Ooh,
True.
yes, okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
Good idea.
Write that down.
I already wrote it down. When I was taking an Uber back from the what was it, S-Fan's house to the airport, and my God, this guy he picked me up in an Uber or in a Tesla.
Oh,
So he's
that's how you know it's gonna
driving
be trouble.
Uber with a Tesla.
Yeah.
And bro was like falling asleep at the wheel.
Huh?
He was letting it be autopilot the whole fucking time.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, shit, this is like, should I say something? But I was like, I know the autopilot's like pretty good. Like I've been in the car when someone does the autopilot, so I'm like, the only part that like frustrated me a bit was I don't know if it was the roads or autopilot, but it was doing a little bit of this movement back and forth, like a very subtle movement back and forth as it was going fast. And I was like, fuck, man, like, when is this gonna stop?
I don't
Anisa
know.
wouldn't like this if she was in the
There's no
car.
fucking way. I could not have. I guess,
Yeah.
did we, because the past podcast we didn't, obviously we can't use, did we talk about you going?
No, not too much, but I figured that I've talked about it a lot on stream, so I don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, just for viewers here, Ian went to Texas for OTK guild meeting for his hardcore WoW guild. He's a rogue, and he's been grinding. So,
Level 41, almost 42 right now.
yeah, wow.
Yes.
So that's where he was. He was at the guild meeting in Texas, and he got to hang out with Mizkif and Asmongold and Esfand
A bunch of WoW heads.
and Finn. Finn was your favorite.
Well, don't say that. It's gonna make other people feel bad. No, he just I don't know. He had time to talk. Other people didn't have time to talk.
Yeah, everybody's so fucking busy streaming.
Yeah.
It's a very hard job
Yeah.
streaming.
Yeah, streaming is a different challenge, and I doing the part-time streaming thing is not feasible if you want to grow on that platform in a
Yeah.
fast and
No,
efficient way.
Can you guys elaborate on why you think that streaming is a difficult job? Because for the average person looking
True.
in, they probably think it's really easy.
No, that's true. I think the reason why I said it's a hard job is mostly because there's zero room for socialization that isn't under the microscope of viewers. And I think that can be very isolating. I think there's a lot of things about streaming that are easy. I'm not saying that streamers are
Let's put it this way: if you're getting a ton of viewers and they're tuning in to every one of your streams, it's very easy to get in grind set mentality and put hours in.
yeah.
And it's really hard to keep track of time and to even just maintain relationships.
Eat food.
Eat food.
A lot of streamers that are full time literally forget to
So
eat.
it's definitely
walk.
not it's not something you need to feel super bad about, because obviously they're getting rewarded in other ways.
Yeah.
But in certain ways they're obviously missing out.
Yeah, it's just a massive social and physical sacrifice. Not saying obviously there's a ton of jobs out there that are social and
Yeah,
physical.
if you're grinding
sacrifices.
period at a job,
Yeah.
working overtime, whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. But streaming is a unique one because, in my opinion, I guess the reason why I bring it up is because even to the person who is streaming, it's not obvious that you're missing something until you're in a mental health crisis. Because you're telling yourself, well, I'm socializing. You see people playing with their friends on stream and stuff, but it's different. It's a different type of socialization, and it really sneaks up on you of how alone you really are.
Well, yeah, it feels like all your needs are being met.
Yeah.
Right? Because it is I'd think the same thing. I'm talking to all my friends on Discord.
Yeah.
We're doing fucking WoW content together.
Yeah.
I'm staying social. There maybe not be in front of my face. Well, I'm not sitting down having a traditional meal with my family, but who's doing that anyway?
Yeah.
So it just doesn't seem obviously like a problem.
Yeah, until it's a problem. And I think the reason why maybe I boldly said that streaming is very difficult is because compared to YouTube or other content creation,
You can kind of
TikTok,
create your own schedule.
you can create your own schedule and you have privacy.
Yeah.
Streaming, when you get to that size and you feel like you have to constantly maintain, everything is on display and you don't have much time to assess what's going on.
Right.
Again, I think people who are working regular, very difficult jobs are obviously in a different type of hell.
I can't remember if we talked about this in the podcast that we recorded before. But were we talking about a big reason why streamer houses exist is to combat that
Yes.
isolation?
We did the one that got not
Yeah.
recorded. Yeah, we were talking about streamer houses exist to try and combat the fact that streamers are so isolated.
Right.
But the ironic thing is that they have to spend so much time streaming, 10 hours, 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
They don't end up socializing outside of
Right.
it as much anyway.
But that's exactly why the house needs to exist in the first
Yeah.
place, though, is because it's this is the meeting zone, and it's even you going from your streaming room to the bathroom, there might be someone in the living room that
Yeah.
you could say some words to.
Say hello to or whatever.
Maybe take a break from your stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Yeah, we were talking about the topic of third places in general.
Yeah.
And, like, how necessary they are for, people to get their socialization and feel fulfilled in life. Because, I don't know, it's like, that is a great feeling. Even, just having someone in your house that you trust, or people in your house that you trust, that, like, you can hear them in the common space, knowing that, if you need that energy, you can go out there. You don't even necessarily have to participate. It feels good.
Yeah. It feels good. I think it's important. That's what we were talking about, like, there's not a lot of third spaces, especially in America, so the internet has basically become
Is that, like, it feels like that's a new term.
a third space?
Yeah.
It's not a new term, but I think
It's becoming more popular.
yeah, like that there's the YouTube channel, the bicycle.
The bike one,
the bike one.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
Right, so channels like that are
Not just
popular right
bikes? Are you talking about not just bikes?
I think
probably, yeah.
so. And there's some civil engineers on
Right.
like TikTok and on Twitter and other places that are like discussing why America is
People are just getting the tools now, and the tools are those words
Yeah.
to describe it. Because it's like before, you're like, I don't fucking know. Something's wrong here.
yeah, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just like explaining why
Right.
we're where we're at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. And like before learning about the term third space, I would be like, well, there's our house and then there's the mall. So if we want to hang out and socialize more, we got to go to the mall.
man, I used to go to the mall all the time.
Mall is so cool. Such cool American culture.
Yeah.
Like like I could picture it perfectly in my mind, like a 2007 video of like a mall and people
Yeah.
romping around.
Going to Claire's
Yeah.
to get your ears pierced.
Going to Cinnabon to get your bond stuffed.
They would give you free samples.
Would they at Cinnabon?
Did you not get that at yours?
I mean, I just like the smell of it.
They stand out there with a tray, little toothpicks in each one.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll be the dissenting voice. I actually never really liked malls that much.
What the
well,
heck?
that just kind of means you're cringe.
Wait, not even one. There wasn't anything in a mall.
I used to live like right next to a mall.
Oh,
And so I actually went to the mall quite often. Went there to see movies most of the time because they're cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was a teenager, obviously that was when I hung out at the mall more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, they were always kind of stressful. I don't know why. I think it was just I don't really like being in open public areas.
yeah.
No, I agree with that. I think I've gone into more malls in my older age with Anisa, and
Yeah.
it's been fun because we're doing it together.
Yeah.
But you think maybe it just feels a little bit more novel now. I'm coming from a place of like I did this when it was like normal to go to
Right.
malls, and back then I remember it not being fun. I would be like, when are we gonna leave? You know?
I was.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the same
Oh
position.
no, I was a nasty little mall rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think there were places in the mall that are made for you and other people. When I went to the mall, there was a fucking like a Goofs and Gags store where I'd buy some like colorful D20s for fun, and maybe a place called Comics and Stuff where I'd go in there and like fucking maybe get a Pokemon card out of the machine. And that was like it. Once I've done those two things, the mall is no longer anything.
I just didn't like being at home.
Yeah, I guess if you
So-
hate home enough,
I felt like way
you can
more
feel like a reprieve.
safe there.
Right.
And I would sit in the food court and I would there was a fry place called New York Fries. Mm-hmm. You get like a cup of fries for really cheap.
Yeah.
And you'd sit there and you just wait for people to like walk by that either you knew or like were kind of interesting.
Oh
and you
man,
just, like,
that's
people watch.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people in the audience are going to relate to that idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like I
that's what I
think
did.
about like food courts, and that stresses me out. I'm like, it will be hard for me to enjoy my meal in a open air food court.
I think though, okay, you grew up in a household with one other sibling
Uh-huh.
and you had a lot of like space to yourself.
I did, yeah.
I grew up in a house with 4 siblings and
Not a lot of space to yourself.
not any space. None of the doors locked. I didn't know kids had bedrooms where the doors locked. Like our doors didn't lock. the culture was very much
Right.
like bother whoever, whenever.
Right, that makes sense why then something like a food court wouldn't be as stressful,
No.
or the mall wouldn't be as stressful, because you're kind of like,
One of a million.
yeah,
You're one of a million people in there.
right.
Whereas like at home, like I just didn't want to be perceived. I didn't want to be observed, especially if I was having like
Right.
a really hard time.
Uh-huh.
Right? Because then like people ask you questions. I didn't want to be asked questions. So I would go and I would walk. The mall was like 20 minutes. I would walk to the mall and I would just sit there. I was definitely like, you know, when you see kids now, like teens, and you're like, ooh, it's making me kind of uncomfortable. I was one of those teens where like I was just like not a pleasant thing to see in the mall, but it was definitely because I was trying to cope with.
Yeah, your situation.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on Ian seeing kids and
Ian's-
being weirded out?
Ian doesn't like teens in groups.
Oh, yeah.
It scares him.
Yeah. I mean, less so. I don't feel that way about girls, though.
It's just young boy teens.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
You know what's funny? The high school that I went to was right beside a mall. And my school used to, once a year, give us roses to go to the mall and hand out to old people to make them less scared of us.
That's so cool.
Wow, you were doing like PR for teens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do need to get over the being afraid of teenage boys type thing.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because that can definitely roll over into old age.
Totally. Yeah.
But yeah, when I've watched the David Mitchell sketch on Peep Show, where there's like young kids bullying this 40-year-old man,
Calling
it's
him
like,
a pedophile.
yeah, it's like that shit is so. I think you've done that bit numerous times where it's like an older adult person like shouldn't be scared of kids, but they're getting bullied by some random teen boys, and it's
Yeah.
like fuck, like that is a real fear, and I because it's been portrayed, I feel like it'll happen.
I wonder though how much of it is because like you did when you were having a hard time as a teen, like you were having a bad week or whatever, you could actually just sit in your room and be left alone. There was like no need for you to escape out.
Right.
So for you, when you see teens that are out, your brain's probably like, why are you out?
Yeah.
And
You're
Or
out
your
to bother
parents.
someone.
yeah, you're out to bother someone.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh, clearly you don't want to be at home.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
You would American Graffiti would be a horror movie for you.
American Graffiti.
I don't know that
I
one.
don't think I've seen that movie.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be a horror movie for me.
I know that it's about teenagers who are basically just like out driving their parents' cars,
Oh,
basically.
yeah.
George Lucas's first movie.
Right.
Oh,
I had a quick complaint, a quick iDubbbz complains about something. When people on TikTok or wherever, fucking Reddit, when they phrase things as my 33 male, wife 30 female says I'm cringe. When they say something like that, my head goes into a fucking spiral. I'm like, what the fuck words did you just say?
why?
My 33 male, wife
Yes.
30 female.
Yes.
It's like, what the hell? You just jumbled up a bunch of words.
No, they're clarifying for context their age.
I mean, I know that that's the case, and I know they're doing it for the sex as well. But it's like it's really hard to, in the modern age, get down with that verbiage and immediately know what's up. You know what I mean?
no.
It doesn't. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
know what
come
you
up with
mean.
a composition. Dane gets it.
Okay, well, Dane gets it. That's
Yeah.
good. What the hell? Ian just, if you're a listener and not a viewer, Ian just gave me the freaking finger.
That's so fun. If you're a listener, not a viewer, I gotta clarify.
Listeners,
something.
listeners.
I am a victim.
Listeners, he's assaulting me right now. But yeah, it's just I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like the old people learning that pronouns are a thing and like getting on board with that. It's like it isn't that hard technically. This is sort of my boomer complaint.
It's the meta.
You could say that it's the meta, but it is a rough meta to get.
Reddit meta.
Because I've heard it a number of times, and it only like crossed my mind recently where I was like, I sort of just like ignore and like kind of summarize what they're saying through context later on, but like it's
Oh.
still not. That format hasn't solidified in my brain. It's like I immediately understand what's being said as it's being said. But you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, next time I'm going to create my own like quiz. It's going to be like a sentence or several sentences that's going to go through all of the sexes and ages with like different contexts and past and present tense.
I will say, Ian, I have
And also when you get
a similar like
Gripe.
gripe about like green text. You know what that is? It's like 4chan.
Yes.
Like they do a bracket and they say "be me."
You mean?
I don't know why. I was just like, just tell the story normally, please. Like, you don't have to do that.
I agree with that one, but that's a lot of effort. Like that, like to me, typing out like my 35 male girlfriend, like just adding that extra bit of information immediately, so you know exactly like what age you're working with. And, like, what the
I do like
dynamic is.
that. Yeah.
It's different. The green text is just fucking weird because it's like you're putting in a lot of effort to signal to everybody that you're a 4channer.
I kind of like the 4channer one though because
What?
What?
This is so. I don't.
because to me it's like it's a bit autistic in that like it has like a very like uniform way that it's like being like the sentences are going. It's like familiar because you're not taking me through any like twists and turns of like a story.
I would argue.
I want that though.
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want like bullet points. Be me. Be gay. Be angry that
gay.
mom won't let me be gay.
Oh.
Et cetera, et cetera. Like that like format is like so, I don't know, it's easy to follow for me.
It's efficient, I suppose.
Yeah. It is definitely like unclean.
Unkempt.
It's unkempt. But
I
kind of
think,
like it a bit.
man, I don't know why my brain's having a hard time navigating this conversation.
Be me. Be stinky. Be confused.
Be unsure of why husband is bothered by 35 male clarification.
I think where I'm coming from is my gripe is rooted in just me like kind of I don't know unnecessarily wanting people to be more creative with the way they tell stories.
Right.
Like why fall in like you don't have to
That's
do a
fair.
formatted thing. Just like tell a story and you can give the exposition that they're a female and they're your wife and that you're your husband and you're 30. Like you can add that information in. You don't have to like put it in as like a bullet point.
Oh,
I
man.
like the system.
Yeah, well, I think
Just-
I would argue that I think people are doing that and they're doing this green tech shit because they are so uncomfortable with like their true selves being revealed, which is why it's a 4chan thing.
That makes
Because
sense.
I think they're afraid that something is
Limited.
going to be you're going to slip up or you're going to say something that
Or somebody will recognize your writing
or
style.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of like unnecessarily expecting too much of people.
It's a
I
little
understand that.
sterile.
So not everybody's a writer, but they still want to share their story.
Right.
So it's like
Yeah.
it makes it easier to have a format. I understand that. But it is like a boomer gripe.
Right. Well, thank you for fucking giving me that because I never even processed that was a thing. Like the green text thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about how confused I was by the male, the 33 male.
The Reddit thing does make me more mad than the green text, though, just because it is like like the Redditor voice
Right.
is so apparent.
Be me. Be 33 male. I like the combination of the two.
Yeah, that makes it really bad. It's like a
Yeah.
trifecta.
Yeah, it's like, what creature are you? Where did you climb out of? Okay, so I saw there's like a new term, seeing it on TikTok, seeing it originate on TikTok. They're calling it performative cleanliness.
Excuse me?
Yeah, performative cleanliness. So, I mean, that sounds like exactly what it is. But it came about via this woman uploading a video about like, I can't fuck with y'all if you don't clean your fake Christmas tree. And she's like cleaning her Christmas tree, her fake Christmas tree, in like a bathtub,
No.
like washing it with soap and water and shit.
Putting it in her mouth or something? Why?
She's washing it like a dog.
Yeah,
What the
I mean, she's kind of
hell?
washing it like a dog, I think. But yeah, so many people were like, "What the hell is this about?" And
bait.
they ended up, using the term performative cleanliness to describe it.
Yeah.
As like, there are a lot of people on TikTok. I want to say a lot of I think a lot of women, I think primarily, are like trying to find like purpose in some
Yeah.
of their like menial tasks that they've been like forced to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be just like cleaning up, having an organized kitchen or whatever. It's kind of like all of the people who have their cereal or their legumes or their rice in like clear plastic
Oh,
vacuum sealed things.
there's like TikToks that are dedicated to like
right.
somebody doing that, like putting their Oreos in like a fucking
Right.
bucket in
Yeah.
their pantry.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Part of me has understood it a little bit more. I'm like, I see. You want a vibe. You want to cultivate a sterile vibe in your kitchen. I understand that. You hate seeing Tony the Tiger,
No branding.
yeah, amongst, your gorgeous, clean shit.
It's
Amongst
kind of
us.
among us.
Amongst us. That would be number 2.
That would have to be the second one, yeah.
I feel like millennial gray and setting up your pantry like that go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like someone who has a home that's millennial gray and very like
True.
sterile feeling also has a pantry that's just like plastic tubs.
Right, because if you're a little bit more cluttered, you're not going to fucking do that.
Yeah.
This is like, yeah.
Here's
I'm wondering.
the thing, though. How do you know when things expire?
Good. That's a great point.
I guess
They
you
probably
just
have
take a
some
little bite.
very. They probably have some
A
over the
notebook.
top. Yes, they have an over the top system.
crazy if they do.
They might even have a label printer where they print stuff out on the bottom of it. The
Damn.
containers or something.
Do the sniff test.
Yeah.
That's how you find out if it's expired.
There's a TikToker that we both follow named Kelitarosita.
Mm-hmm.
And she's infamous for doing the sniff test.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she doesn't read dates at all, or she doesn't care about the dates. She just like sniff test.
I respect that.
Yeah, she just sniff tests everything.
Yeah.
I'm like,
See,
damn.
this stuff, you're saying performative cleanliness is a thing. I think that the stuff you're mentioning is just performative quirk.
Yeah.
No, because sniff tests, that's very important for like saving money on food.
I know, but there are certain TikToks that I come across where it feels a little bit like maybe they did this once or twice and they're
Yeah.
just like, oh, this is like a quirky thing that maybe people will relate to.
Right.
And I'll make a TikTok about it saying, and now this is going to be my thing.
Right.
And
that
then,
makes sense.
And then another thing that ends up happening with TikTok and on social media in general, and Harley brought this up in the Hot Seat episode that he was in, is that like once you make like a relatable thing on TikTok and people vibe with it and it gets a bunch of hits, that's now just your gimmick for the rest of your life.
Well,
like
I
you just need to be making TikToks about you doing the sniff test now.
I don't know. I think that can be true, but for this specific creator, it's definitely who she is. Like 100%. She does. So her gimmick, I would say, or like what has hit for her is what I eat in a day from someone who just scrounges around. And she like,
it's very authentic.
it's very, she's just like showing what she makes. She's like very into carrots. Like, she puts carrots in almost every single meal. She likes putting things in, she calls it packages. So it's either like a rice wrapper or like a tortilla or something. And she always has cheese and hot sauce with it. That's like kind of the formula or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's had like quite a bit of success with that. At least that's what I really enjoy watching from her. But she's now started to do baking, or like she calls them experiments. And she does not follow the directions at all.
Yeah. Well, she does like as best as you can from someone who doesn't have like professional experience like cooking.
Well, a lot of it's just instinct. She's like, "Oh, it doesn't look right to me,"
Right.
so I just added.
Right. But the problem is she's not like some of these recipes she follows are specifically from the videos that I watch, which is like new trending vegan stir fry
Yes.
recipe in China.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is not thorough at
Yeah.
all. They don't give you portion sizes. They don't give you anything.
No, it's true. But she is very uncaring of like I would
Right,
say
rules.
rules in general. Like she is very
True.
much like I go with what I feel is right.
Yeah.
And I just think it's super interesting because it seems, I think she said that she has aphid,
Aphid,
which
what's
is
that?
like you have certain sensitivity to certain textures of food.
Oh.
And you can't eat them. Like you just can't. So I find it interesting that she, even though she has aphid, she'll do things like sniff test, and she'll also experiment with foods and get textures that maybe she doesn't want, and she'll still try the food and she'll still like
Yeah, that's cool.
commit to it. And I think maybe that's why she's so likable. But I do agree with you, Dane. I think people can do that as like a, oh, that gimmick worked and like I'll seem quirky, but like I just think she's authentically very.
It really helps when people leave comments, even if you're not getting that many viewers, and someone, like the one thing that someone brings up in your video, that'll fucking set off a chain of dominoes in your head.
Yeah.
Of like,
No,
all
it's
right,
true.
this is who I need to be.
Positive reinforcement.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, social media is driven by positive reinforcement
Yeah.
and negative reinforcement.
I think other performative cleanliness is like, unless you have like actual like germaphobe issues, using hand sanitizer all the time.
Oh, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like whipping it out. You're like, gotta sanitize.
Yeah. After every store visit,
And
after every.
Is that a harmful one, though? I feel like that's like...
It's not a harmful one, but I've had friends or people in the past where I'm like, do you do that in private? I don't, I have a hard time believing, unless you are like an actual like germaphobe or you have like compulsions of cleanliness, that's
Right.
different. But like if it's just someone who's like, that's
Yeah.
their thing is sanitizing their hands all the time after everything, I always wonder if they're like that in private.
Could it be similar to like, always having a pack of gum available? Like that
Yeah.
kind of inconsequential where it's just like, I feel comfortable having this thing. It's almost just like a reliance on having a thing.
Yeah, it could be a comfort thing, I guess, actually,
Yeah.
to be honest. But I've always wondered, because my brain does not work that way at all. I guess that's kind of where it comes from. I think a lot of people, when they're like, is that performative? I think the truth is most of the time it's just because your brain doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that it's.
That's true. Our heads oftentimes go to that idea where it's like you're doing it for attention, you're doing it for another reason that is
Right.
probably not the case.
Not the case. It's
Yeah.
just like your brain doesn't work in that specific way.
And to be clear, I don't even necessarily think a lot of the performative stuff is like nefarious. I
No.
don't think people do it on purpose, really.
Yeah.
I think that they just like, it's, the experiment with the dog,
Pavlovian.
with ringing a bell every time they eat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Every time you ring the bell, the dog knows it's going to eat, starts
I think
farting
that's-
or something.
Farting. I think that's true for YouTubers and streamers too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think there is like a food item, how we were talking about like the clear packaging that they put it into, putting one container of food, putting the food from one perfectly good container into another. Do you think there's like an example where that is like necessary or really good and helpful?
Oh, okay, so this is a fun fact about me and Ian. I don't care if things are stale. Ian really cares if things are stale. I think if you really
Specifically
care,
like with food and chips.
Yeah.
Or food, what am I saying?
cereal.
Cereal and chips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're like that, where you really care about and you're very sensitive to like stale food, I think it makes sense to put it in plastic containers.
I've always just used chip clips though.
Yeah, I mean you can do that too, but I could see
Yeah,
someone
it making sense.
liking sealing it.
Yeah. Okay. The other one that I was like, I used to be on board with, which was the dog food, where it's like empty the big bag of dog food into a big, healthy dog tub. That way, it's like you don't have to mess around with this big bag anymore. You
Yeah.
can just scoop it out of the tub.
I think there might be something to that because I think food expires when you just leave it open. Like
Yeah. Well, I mean,
kibble.
yeah, I don't think. I think part of us is like, oh yeah, we don't want to expose to the air, and then I saw these TikToks where they're basically like, yeah, don't put your dog's food into a plastic tub unless it's this very specific one, or unless it's wood or something like that, because it leaches
Microplastics.
into the dog's food.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then I saw people basically putting their whole bag of dog food into these tubs, and it's like that's how you're supposed to use it. which I don't know. It's just like at that point, I'm just like, I'll use the bag.
Well, the nice thing about the bag that we have is that it ziplocks,
Yep.
so it shuts.
Yes. Shout out Royal Canin.
Yeah.
You're basted.
Yeah, Royal Canin is basted. But yeah, I guess for chips and cereal, I get
Yeah, fair.
baking items.
Oh shit, you're right. Okay,
Then
my
you can
mom
measure-
would put flour and sugar, like granulated sugar, in their own like tubs, but that was like the only products that she did it with.
Also brown sugar, because if you leave it in the bag, it hardens. But if you
true.
put it in a tub, it doesn't.
Okay.
My mom used to do this too, but I always assumed it was just for convenience.
Right.
I mean,
It's much easier to scoop flour out of a
Tub.
tub than it is out of a bag because like the bag is made of paper most of the time. It's hard to like
Flies
reseal
everywhere.
it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valid.
But yeah, so baking stuff.
Okay. Okay, that is going to conclude our podcast for today's episode. Why are you laughing? Am I the laughing stock here?
I just like how abrupt.
Someone's going to say in the comments, by the way, Ian, laughing is a sign of abuse.
Oh, that's true.
Demeaning your husband
Laughing
in
at
front
you,
of the
bro.
audience is
He's
a sign
laughing
of
at you,
abuse.
bro.
That's fucked up.
But yeah,
No, I was laughing because it was just a funny finale.
Yeah. It
talking
was just
about-
abrupt.
yeah.
I just liked the abruptness of it.
Mm-hmm.
We were like talking about dog food being sealed, and then you're like, okay, and
And we've covered it all.
that's I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Okay. And we've covered it all. From kinks to fetishes to dog food.
Yep.
Yeah, so the full episode, or the uncut, the additional 30 minutes to 45 will be available on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching this episode. We've heard your feedback, and we love it. We like it. We want some more of it.
True.
And yeah, as soon as we get like a new table in here, that's it. We're having a new guest. We're having a guest. Also, Roman, I messaged Roman. I was like, would you want to be a guest on our podcast? He was like, yes, I would very much like that.
Nice.
Seems down for whatever.
Yeah, so
Rubbing this down.
lit. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hasta
Hasta la vista.
la vista.